The 1970s gave us some of the most important music in rock history. Epic albums, fearless experimentation, and artists pushing the limits of what popular music could be. But mixed in with all that brilliance were songs that drove people absolutely crazy. Tracks that critics rolled their eyes at. Songs that felt sugary, repetitive, or simply impossible to escape on the radio. And yet, many of them became massive hits. Some dominated the charts, some influenced future pop and rock trends in ways nobody expected, and a few quietly shaped the sound of the decade. Here are 10 of the most annoying songs of the 1970s that somehow changed rock history. Number 10. Go Away Little Girl, Donny Osmond, 1971. By the early 1970s, the world of rock music was expanding rapidly. Bands were experimenting with progressive structures, heavier guitars, and more ambitious songwriting. But at the same time, another kind of pop phenomenon was quietly dominating the charts: teen idol music. Few artists represented that phenomenon more clearly than Donny Osmond. His 1971 hit Go Away Little Girl became one of the most recognizable pop songs of the era, even though it stood miles away from the rebellious spirit that defined much of rock music at the time. Originally written by legendary songwriting duo Jerry Goffin and Carole King, the song had already been recorded by other artists in the 1960s. But Osmond's version was different. Delivered with a soft, innocent vocal style and polished orchestral production, it captured the clean-cut image that made Osmond a teenage superstar. The song shot to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, proving that even in the age of rock experimentation, audiences still loved traditional pop ballads. For many rock fans, however, the song felt painfully sentimental. Its sugary melody and dramatic delivery made it an easy target for critics who preferred the rougher edges of rock music. Yet the track also demonstrated something important about the early 1970s music landscape. Even as rock grew louder and more ambitious, mainstream pop still had enormous cultural power. And like it or not, songs like Go Away Little Girl were part of the soundtrack of the decade. Number 9. Escape, the Pina Colada song, Rupert Holmes, 1979.
If you like pina coladas.
By the end of the 1970s, rock music had splintered into dozens of directions. Punk was rebelling against excess, disco ruled the dance floor, and singer-songwriters continued crafting radio-friendly storytelling hits. Then along came a song that sounded like a tropical cocktail, served with a twist of questionable morality. Escape, the Pina Colada song, arrived in 1979 with one of the most bizarre narratives ever to top the charts.
If you like making love at midnight.
Written and performed by Rupert Holmes, the song tells the story of a bored man who secretly answers a personal advertisement in the newspaper. He's looking for romance outside his relationship, only to discover that the mysterious woman he plans to meet is actually his own partner doing the exact same thing. Instead of ending in heartbreak, the story closes with a cheerful reconciliation. For many listeners, the plot felt oddly unsettling.
I'm not much into health food.
Here was a cheerful soft rock hit built around mutual infidelity, wrapped in breezy melodies and Caribbean imagery. Yet somehow the strange concept only made the song more memorable. The track quickly climbed to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming one of the most recognizable pop hits of the decade. Critics often mocked its quirky storyline and overly relaxed delivery, but the song proved something fascinating about late 1970s pop music. Storytelling could be strange, even slightly uncomfortable, and still capture the public imagination. Annoying to some, unforgettable to others, the Pina Colada song remains one of the strangest hits the decade ever produced. Number 8. Billy, Don't Be a Hero, Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods, 1974.
The marching band came down along Main Street.
Some songs become hits because they are brilliant. Others become hits because they are simply impossible to escape. In 1974, Billy, Don't Be a Hero was both. Performed by Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods, the song tells the melodramatic story of a young soldier marching off to war while his lover pleads with him not to risk his life for glory. Of course, he ignores her warning.
Forgetting all the words she said.
Billy runs into battle, trying to be a hero, and never returns. Delivered through cheerful pop instrumentation and a sing-along chorus, the song turned a tragic war narrative into something that sounded oddly upbeat. The contrast between its grim storyline and its bright, almost bubblegum melody struck many listeners as bizarre. And yet the formula worked.
Come back and make me your wife.
Released in 1974, the single shot straight to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming one of the most unavoidable radio hits of the decade. For rock fans who were gravitating toward heavier sounds or the emerging sophistication of progressive rock, the song felt painfully simplistic. Critics often dismissed it as sentimental pop with a clumsy message, but its success revealed something important about the mid-1970s music landscape.
And as it started to go,
Narrative-driven songs, even overly dramatic ones, could still dominate the charts. And despite its reputation as one of the decade's most irritating hits, Billy Don't Be a Hero remains a perfect example of how storytelling could drive pop music straight to the top of the charts. Number 7, Afternoon Delight, Starland Vocal Band, 1976.
and we know the night is always gonna be here anyway.
Few songs from the 1970s have produced quite as many eye rolls as Afternoon Delight. Released in 1976 by Starland Vocal Band, the track arrived with a sunny melody, gentle harmonies, and a soft acoustic groove that sounded perfectly harmless at first glance. Then listeners started paying attention to the lyrics. The song is quite transparently about daytime romance, a cheerful ode to sneaking away in the middle of the afternoon for something more exciting than lunch. What made it particularly strange was how wholesome it sounded.
Afternoon delight.
The band delivered the lyrics with bright vocal harmonies and an almost innocent folk pop arrangement. It felt like the kind of song that might play during a family-friendly variety show, which, ironically, is exactly where it often appeared. Despite the slightly awkward concept, the song became an enormous hit. Afternoon Delight climbed all the way to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and even won the Grammy Award for Best New Artist for Starland Vocal Band.
Sky rockets in flight.
For many rock listeners, however, the song represented everything they disliked about mid-1970s soft pop. Its sugary melody and relentlessly cheerful chorus made it feel impossible to escape once it started playing on the radio. Yet its cultural impact was undeniable. Whether loved or mocked, Afternoon Delight became one of the most recognizable pop songs of the decade, proof that sometimes the most irritating hits are also the most unforgettable. Number 6, Seasons in the Sun, Terry Jacks, 1974.
We've known each other since we were 9 or 10.
If there was ever a song that perfectly captured the strange emotional contradictions of the 1970s, it might be Seasons in the Sun. Released in 1974 by Terry Jacks, the song tells a surprisingly dark story. It is essentially a farewell letter from a dying man. In the lyrics, the narrator says goodbye to his friend, his father, and his lover, reflecting on the life he's lived and the mistakes he's made before facing the end. On paper, the concept is deeply tragic.
You gave me love and helped me find the sun.
But musically, the song sounds almost cheerful. Acoustic guitars, soft harmonies, and a gentle sing-along chorus create a strangely upbeat atmosphere, the kind of melody that listeners might hum without thinking too much about the lyrics. That emotional disconnect made the song controversial for some critics. Many felt the sentimental tone crossed into excessive melodrama, turning a story about death into something oddly sentimental. Others found its sincerity touching rather than irritating.
I wish that we could both be there.
Whatever people thought about it, the public embraced the song immediately. Seasons in the Sun became one of the biggest hits of 1974, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and selling millions of copies worldwide. For rock fans who preferred edgier music, it often felt painfully sentimental. Yet its enormous popularity showed that deeply emotional storytelling still had a place in the mainstream, even if the result sometimes sounded a little too sweet for its own good. Number 5, You're Having My Baby, Paul Anka, 1974. In 1974, Paul Anka delivered one of the most controversial pop hits of the decade. You're Having My Baby, arrived as a soft, sentimental ballad celebrating the announcement of a pregnancy. Built around gentle piano, orchestral strings, and Anka's unmistakably smooth voice, the song was designed to feel heartfelt and romantic. But almost immediately, it sparked debate.
Have enough, baby.
To some listeners, the lyrics sounded sweet, a man expressing gratitude and love for the woman carrying his child. But to others, the phrasing of the title itself felt awkwardly possessive, as if the pregnancy belonged entirely to him. The line, "You're having my baby," became the center of the controversy. In the early 1970s, a time when conversations about women's rights and gender equality were growing louder, critics argued that the song unintentionally reflected outdated attitudes about relationships and family roles. Despite the criticism, the public response told a very different story. Released in 1974, the single climbed quickly to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming one of the biggest hits of Paul Anka's career.
Are you happy you know it?
The song was played everywhere, radio stations, television shows, and weddings alike. For many rock fans, however, it felt unbearably sentimental. Its syrupy melody and overly earnest lyrics made it an easy target for mockery. Yet its success proved something important about the era. Even during a decade defined by hard rock, progressive experimentation, and rebellious new sounds, simple emotional ballads could still dominate the charts. Number 4. Muskrat Love, Captain and Tennille, 1976.
Muskrat, candlelight.
Few songs from the 1970s have aged quite as strangely as Muskrat Love. Released in 1976 by Captain and Tennille, the track tells what might be the most unusual romantic story ever to reach the top of the pop charts: the love life of two muskrats named Susie and Sam. Yes, really. The song describes the couple enjoying candlelight dinners and peaceful evenings together, all delivered through a soft pop arrangement filled with gentle keyboards and dreamy melodies.
Now he's tickling a fancy.
But what truly pushed the song into legendary territory were the sound effects. During the instrumental break, electronic synthesizer noises mimicked the squeaks and chirps of muskrats, a creative decision that left many listeners somewhere between amused and confused. Originally written by Willis Allen Ramsey, the song was later recorded by Captain and Tennille and transformed into a massive pop hit. In 1976, it climbed to number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming one of the duo's most recognizable singles. For many rock fans, however, the song became a symbol of everything overly cute about mid-1970s soft pop. Its whimsical concept and sugary tone made it an easy target for critics who preferred the grit of rock or the complexity of progressive music. Yet despite the jokes, the song left a lasting cultural imprint. Sometimes the most ridiculous ideas turn into the most unforgettable hits, and few songs prove that point better than Muskrat Love. Number 3, You Light Up My Life, Debbie Boone, 1977. If there was a song that perfectly embodied the softer side of late 1970s pop, it was You Light Up My Life. Released in 1977 and performed by Debbie Boone, the song arrived with a sweeping orchestral arrangement, a delicate piano introduction, and a melody that seemed designed to tug directly at the listener's heart. The lyrics were simple, almost devotional in tone. Rather than focusing on dramatic romance, the song speaks about emotional support and spiritual reassurance. For many listeners, the words felt less like a love song and more like a quiet expression of faith. But what truly defined the track was its overwhelming popularity. Once it reached the radio, the song became almost impossible to escape. It climbed to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and stayed there for an astonishing 10 consecutive weeks, setting a chart record at the time. For some listeners, the song's sincerity was moving. For others, it was simply too much. Critics often mocked the track for its overwhelming sentimentality. Compared to the raw energy of punk or the experimental ambitions of progressive rock, You Light Up My Life felt almost painfully gentle, yet its impact was undeniable. The song won the Academy Award for Best Original Song and became one of the most commercially successful ballads of the decade. Annoying to some, comforting to others, it remains one of the most unforgettable hits of the 1970s. Number 2. Feelings. Morris Albert, 1975.
Feelings of love.
Few songs from the 1970s have inspired as much debate, or parody, as Feelings. Released in 1975 by Brazilian singer Morris Albert, the song arrived with a dramatic orchestral arrangement and a vocal performance overflowing with emotional intensity. From the very first line, the message was unmistakable.
Feelings.
For some listeners, the song was deeply. It captured heartbreak and vulnerability with complete sincerity, presenting emotion without irony or restraint. For others, however, it felt overwhelmingly sentimental. Critics quickly pointed to the song's repetitive lyrics and exaggerated emotional tone. The word feelings itself seemed to appear endlessly, turning the chorus into something that was both unforgettable and, to some ears, unbearably melodramatic.
Feelings like I've never lost you.
Yet none of the criticism slowed the song's success. Feelings became a massive international hit, climbing the charts across multiple countries and reaching number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the United States. The song's influence spread far beyond the original recording. It was covered by dozens of artists, including legends like Frank Sinatra and Ella Fitzgerald, and quickly became a staple of lounge singers and easy-listening radio. At the same time, comedians and critics used it as shorthand for excessive sentimentality. Love it or hate it, Feelings became one of the defining ballads of the decade, proof that sometimes the most mocked songs are also the most memorable. Number 1. Disco Duck, Rick Dees, 1976.
All of a sudden I begin to change.
If there is one song that perfectly captures how strange the 1970s could be, it might be Disco Duck. Released in 1976 by radio DJ Rick Dees, the track combined two things nobody expected to hear together: the booming popularity of disco music and a cartoon duck voice. The concept was simple and almost absurd.
All of a sudden I begin to change.
Over a lively disco rhythm, the song tells the story of a party where one dancer suddenly transforms into a duck-like character who can't stop dancing. Throughout the song, Dees performs exaggerated duck vocals, quacking and squeaking his way through the chorus. For some listeners, it was hilarious. For others, it was one of the most irritating records ever played on the radio. Yet the public reaction was impossible to ignore.
I was on the dance floor acting strange.
Disco Duck exploded in popularity during the height of the disco era and climbed all the way to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It sold millions of copies and became one of the most recognizable novelty songs of the decade. Rock fans and critics often treated the song as a symbol of everything they disliked about disco culture. To them, it felt like proof that the music industry had gone completely ridiculous. But in another sense, the song captured something important about the era. The 1970s were a time when experimentation, serious or silly, could still reach a massive audience. And whether listeners loved it or hated it, Disco Duck remains one of the most unforgettable oddities in pop music history.